Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. EVGA's 400 watt power supply for $30. What is this? Why should you watch and why should you care? In short, if you are looking for either a new power supply for a new budget build that you're putting together, or you have an older machine with either a failed power supply or not enough wattage to power a dedicated graphics card, then stop, you've come to the right place. This is a budget value power supply for $30 or less. It is sometimes on sale, and there are links to both Amazon and Newegg in the video description below. I highly encourage you to check both because I regularly see this go on sale, and if you can get it for less, then it's definitely a steal. This power supply provides enough power for most basic and mid-level graphics cards on the market. I would use this for anything up to an RX 470 or 480 graphics card or an NVIDIA GTX 1060 graphics card. Anything beyond those and I would get a better power supply. But for a basic system for a mid-level $200 graphics card, this will work just fine. While this is a budget power supply, it does have some features that are on more expensive units, most notably the fan. Most cheap budget power supplies have an 80mm fan on the back. They make more noise and they provide less cooling. This has a 120mm silent fan. Very nice, and that's a nice upgrade over your less expensive units. It also provides sleeving over the 24-pin ATX cable. Now, it does not provide sleeves, the black sleeve here, on the other cables. You'd have to spend a little bit more to get that. So if you don't want the ketchup and mustard colored cables, then I would point you to their 430 watt power supply, which retails for $35. It has sleeve cables. The $400 unit does not. Speaking of cables and what this comes with, it does come with a standard wall power cable. It does come with 4 case screws in case your case does not have the screws necessary to put this in. This is a standard ATX case. It'll fit in almost anything that takes an ATX power supply. Small mini tower cases, mid tower cases, it's just fine. Now, I showed you before the 24-pin ATX power cable that goes into your motherboard. All systems use them. It also has an 8-pin, which actually is a 4+4-pin power connector. If your older motherboard only uses one of these, they split, no worries. You can just use 1/2 or put them together for 8 pins of CPU power for your motherboard. We have a old school 4-connector cable that has 3 Molex 4-pin connectors and 1 4-pin floppy connector. Odds are most of you will not use this unless you have a much older system, something 5+ years old. These are kind of obsolete at this point, but they're provided for backwards compatibility. The other cable provides 4 serial ATA power cables. What is this used for? Hard drive, solid state drive, DVD drive. So you got 4 of them, and for a 400 watt power supply, that should be plenty. Finally, this power supply provides 360 watts of its 400 watts on the 12-volt rail. This is a very important point. Many cheap power supplies won't do that. I have seen 400 watt power supplies that provide 260 watts on their 12-volt rail. Don't ever buy those. Why does that matter? Your graphics card, your CPU, your motherboard primarily draw their power today from the 12-volt rail. The 5-volt and 3.3-volt rails are not used as much. They're much lower power devices. So this will provide enough power for anything in the $200-ish graphics card market and basically any reasonable CPU that you would use this on. I would not recommend this for an overclocking system. This would be any i5 or i3 based system or an AMD APU based system or one of the lower level FX based systems. I would not use this on an i7 or an 8-core AMD system. Those should have more power, but for everything else, it's a nice unit. One final point worth making. This unit is rated to provide all 400 watts of power at up to 25 degrees Celsius. Now that's the temperature inside the power supply, not your CPU or case or anything else. If you are using a computer with a dedicated graphics card and you're pulling a lot of that power in an unair-conditioned room and it's hot where you live, then you might want to consider the 430 watt power supply for $5 more because it provides 430 watts at 40 degrees Celsius. This is fine if you are in an air-conditioned room. But if you do not have air conditioning, then I would suggest you spend the extra $5 to get the 430 watt unit because it is better able to withstand higher temperatures inside the unit. So this has been my quick overview of the EVGA 400 watt $30 power supply. Like this video if you like it, share it with your friends if you loved it. Remember to subscribe to my channel with the big huge red button directly below this video. Questions and comments in the comment section, and as always, check out my video description below. Links to all of my power supply videos will be down there. Links to both Amazon and Newegg where you can buy this. Check both places. This one goes on sale a lot. See if you can find a deal, because if you can get it for less than $30, then it's a screaming good deal for what it is. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in my next video.